As always, welcome back. Talking technical time, and we are again flooded with plenty requests. And people contact us nowadays on Twitter. I see even at WhatsApp. I don't know where they get our numbers from, but even on WhatsApp, and of course, most of it comes through on our emails. France@fransdeclerc.com or even admin@fransdeclerc.com. That's for Christelle when she does the show. Well, the first one that we had was AK asked about Nikola. Now, Nikola Corporation is, of course, listed on the NASDAQ in America. And I mean, what must I say, KK? Market pushed this share up from about $10 to $68 in just one go. I mean, that was from 30th of March. Well, it broke above $13.90 on the 4th of May. And from the 4th of May, it went up in a straight line on a weekly chart, $65 in a matter of, let's call it a month. Now, this is what we call, and most of you guys know that I always talk about the lamp pole formation. Now, you cannot see any better, you can almost say, example of a lamp pole formation. Well, here you are. It rallied all the way up, but Nikola, it came back now. KK, it came back with a vengeance. It's trying to bounce off. Now, if we do put in a Fibonacci here, you'll see it probably retraced almost to the 60%, and then now it's bouncing. For me now, I've got now two things in my mind. Either we must see a consolidation here, so that we can say, yes, it breaks up out of the consolidation, or if this consolidation carries on, it breaks below $29, it can easily go downward. So for the me moment, just wait. Let's just be a little bit patient before we rush into the stock. At the moment, if you chase it, will only be on the momentum that it can maybe go back. So if you chase it above 41.40, unfortunately, you need to use this bottom end of this support as a stop loss, and that will be $29.85. And of course, if you're lucky, there's a little blip. It can go to 48.56. 57.27 and maybe all the way back to 66.37. And next stock is Overstock. And you know what's interesting? I thought about this market for quite a while now. And I've realized now that markets are not pessimistic at all. And everybody is talking and telling me, don't worry, Frans, you must just buy the stock because the market or the share will look through all the bad times and it will be discounted in a beautiful rally. Well, what happened to Overstock was exactly that. Look at March, it went down to about $1.64. How's that? And from 9th of March, I mean on a weekly chart, it went all the way up, can you believe it, $103. And that's a beautiful lamp pole formation, and it's only starting to pull back now. So KK, and for me personally, same story as Nikola Corporation. You need to see how far it pulls back. I mean, rally from a $1 to $100, I mean, it's almost unheard of. But, as you say, the market looks through all the bad news and it just goes up. What worries me a little bit is that in the past, the market also looked at bad news and the shares came under pressure with not a COVID, maybe bad news here and there and the other. This time around with COVID, the world's economy is almost on a standstill and most companies and countries are starting to start up their economies now. The shares just look through all bad news, especially the gold stock shares and the information technology shares, and they just rush on. If you hold on to the show, you'll see there's some nice buys also starting to appear. Well, let's have a look at gold. I mean, I've got so many requests on the gold counters like the gold fuses and harmonies and all that, and we haven't got time, otherwise we'll concentrate the whole show on just that. So I thought maybe we must just look at the gold price. Now, first of all, we warned about the gold price and we said it's rallying way too hard, and we know it is overbought on daily charts and weekly charts. And this last rally from about $1,671, it went up all the way over 2,000. It turned around at 2,040, and that was a beautiful lamp pole, and now it's coming back. What is interesting here is that although the trend is still clearly up, let's just have a look here. You guys can see there is the medium trend. Let's look at the short-term trend. That all tells you that the gold price is still in favor, although we've seen this tiny pullback. Just keep one thing in mind. When you see a rally like this with that triggers a lamp pull formation, we talk about it is a crowded trade or that some hot money is in that trade. Now, what usually happens is, let's call it the hot money. It's not illegal money, hot money. It means that is the traders that push the stock up in anticipation that it must go higher. In actual fact, I heard about analysts talking about the gold price of $2,500, and one guy actually said $3,000. Yes, that can happen. But I mean, this rally was just too steep. But what happened, the moment it broke that 2,000 level, I think a lot of the traders said, whoa, we had a beautiful rally, let's say from $1,500 or from $1,600. It's maybe just time to lock in some of that beautiful rally, and let's lock it in. Now, this caused this pullback. Now, if I look at the chart, the first optimism will come when the stock goes, or the gold price goes above 2,045.72. Then we can see another leg up. I think when it breaks this support line, a lot of the traders, and even I think some medium-term investors, must maybe just lift their eyebrows and say, is something bigger starting to develop? And that level will be 1,885. When this line turns into a resistance, I think we need to take notice of that. And of course, if this line breaks a $1,600, then really something is on the boil. I personally think we can easily, if the markets come off these wonderful levels, we can maybe see this line turn into a resistance and even go back to this 1,600 level. But then we are on a, let's call it a medium to a long-term support. And then we can maybe say, listen, it's maybe time to buy in. And what I like about that line is that if you look at the stock, and you remember this was that big support. I just want to have a look there to show you. That will mean that the stock came back to test a support line. Look what happened there. It went up all the way. It came back to test this line and went rallied on. And I want this to break that line, come back to 1,600, and then I think it's maybe a buying opportunity, because then gold will be oversold again, and that's maybe the time to get back into gold stocks and even gold price. Well, let's have a look at EOH. And Keith asked about EOH. If I look at Keith's question here, Keith said, Frans, is there a buying opportunity? Now, if we look at the weekly chart, I think we're busy working on a massive consolidation here. And if I see a consolidation, especially in this market, for me, I'm nervous about the market, but it looks like I'm too pessimistic. But if I'm pessimistic and I'm not 100% sure what to do, I always use a line that shows me supports and resistance. And that means is the share moving above the support line, then the line turns into a resistance, and it is still a resistance. And for me, when will I be interested in looking at the stock? If this line turns into a support, and that will be at R5.60, then that line can turn into a support. Then I can say maybe this line will remain a support, and then I've got a nice stop loss. I've got a stop loss of 458, and my targets to the top, Keith, will be, can you believe it, 1294, 1587, and even 25. And keep in mind that this company is trying to fix a lot of things. They had a lot of corporate issues. They've got a lot of problems within the management, and they sorted it out. You can see every statement that comes out, they're really trying to almost, you can say, inform investors, that investors can make, let's say, an informed decision and don't get burnt like in the past. Well, let's have a look at Jubilee. And I'm thinking immediately about my friend. He is a big fan of Jubilee. And what happened with him many years ago, he bought the stock, and he was so despondent. And I'm going to mention his name because you probably don't even know him. And that's Steve. And the guy that asked about Jubilee was John. But when I looked at the chart, I immediately said, I would like to almost you can say congratulate Steve, because this guy held on to the stock 2015, 2017, 2018, and he believed that the company will eventually turn into a wonderful company and it will make him some good money. Well, I can believe you can believe me that this man is a happy man. I don't know how many shares he's got, but I'm sure he was loaded. And I can remember this period of 2000 and 2019. He's a reader with us, and he always found, and he was so despondent. And I always said to him, but it must break above this line, because that was the crucial line. There you are. The crucial line was this level of 49 cents. And I can remember he at one point wanted to sell the stock. And he just held on, and then he wants to sell. And what happens? Now the stock is at 136. Beautiful rally, beautiful chart. I must warn, it had a massive rally from 71 cents to 136 almost in one go. You can expect a pullback, because the share showed us in the past, if you see these wonderful rallies, it is maybe time that it can pull back. Now, if you look at this, the first proper support, if it does pull back, will be, it can go to 105. And interesting, a fund manager always said the following to me, and he said, Frans, if you look at the commodity stock, you mustn't be too keen to just keep the stock. You must say, I'm happy with my profit, I lock it in, because it can easily turn around, but above 105, it looks beautiful, and if it carries on, well, Steve and John, it can maybe reach for 150. Well, we're out of time. Visit our website, www.fransdeclerc.com, for more info, and we will chat again.